and welcome. It is Thursday, May 16th, and we are here today to talk about our Springtime Soldier Squad auction that will be taking place this weekend. And I think it's official that spring has sprung here in the Berg.
It's absolutely a gorgeous evening we have here today, Bree. Look at it behind us. We call this Pennsylvania green. It is green out.
I know, it's finally green, which means summer is going to be here soon, but we'll enjoy spring in the meantime. And we are so excited. We have so many soldiers up on the auction block this weekend. The auction begins this Saturday, the 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern and continues Sunday, May 19th at 10 a.m. And as we've stated previously, we're still accepting bids. You can watch the auction live on liveauctioneers.com. Just search for Old Toy Soldier and all of the items will come up there. However, we're still accepting phone and absentee bids as well. So you can check out our website or our Facebook page and you can find all of our contact information there. Aren't you ready, Ray?
I'm ready. Let's
all
start
right.
with some Britons.
We've got about 50 lots to talk you through today. So here we go. We are beginning with the first lot of Saturday, lot 1001, this British Sailors Landing Party, and it's just a wonderful set. I mean, as you can see, it's in excellent condition, and, you know, I think that it would be a great addition to any collection.
Yeah, it's a nice early version of the Landing Party, one of the iconic Britain sets at number 79. Beautiful condition. Figures have a really very nice luster to it. We have a lot of great Britons over the next 2 days. So we're going to start off with one of them right here with the 1001.
We are. This set in particular, they have oval bases, as you can see there. There are 11 pieces in total, and it's an original label there, and you can just see the condition of this set speaks for itself.
Very nice.
So we're starting off with a bang. Next, we are going to talk about, now some of you, even that don't collect soldiers, might be familiar with the company Milton Bradley, but we've got two sets here. One of them is lot 1106, and that is the Milton Bradley Soldiers 5 game, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, these are paper soldiers. They are circa the early 1900s. Gorgeous set. The other set is lot 1107, and that was made by McLaughlin Brothers. It's called Army Tents and Soldiers, also from late 1800s, early 1900s. That one is 39 pieces in total, and the cardboard soldiers are 6 inches tall. Why we're featuring these and why I thought they were interesting is because Milton Bradley just jumped off the page to me. The reason why, I hadn't heard of McLaughlin Brothers really until I started working with Ray, was because McLaughlin Brothers was a New York publishing firm active between 1858 and 1920. And the company, they were known for color printing technologies in children's books, and they had some of the earliest, most valuable board games in America. However, in 1920, they sold the company to Milton Bradley, which now you will still see.
What Milton Bradley is.
And you know what Milton Bradley is.
Yeah, not many people know, but really the first toy soldiers that were really available to the public were these paper toy soldiers. They were very affordable compared to their lead counterparts. This is what most children at that time were able to afford, and they grew up with it. They generally were nice because they sort of worked as a knockdown game. So they're larger scale.
Right.
So kids would line them up on a wall. They'd shoot them. They'd throw rocks at them. They might light them on fire occasionally. So they are fairly rare today, but they are some of the first soldiers that were made.
They are. I think they're just wonderful. As we always state, hard to believe they're still in this condition as early as they are with their original boxes, all the pieces, and the labels, they just pop off the screen.
They do. Great graphics.
So we're looking for those lots 1106 and 1107. Moving along, this is lot 1111, and this was made by Beaton. It's a Beaton Plastic Circus, which we don't sell a ton of plastic, so that's why we picked this set. We thought that we should feature it. Once again, all original box, gorgeous figures, and this company is also known, as you can see on the screen, as Bergen Toy and Novelty Co. They were out of Bergen County, New Jersey, and they were the first company to mass produce hard plastic. That's really what they were known for. However, they began producing lead figures in about 1938, or they began producing lead in 1935 before they switched to plastic in 1938. And their figures are usually marked with a B with a T over top of it, kind of through it. So that's really what you'll find on the backside of the animals and most of the figures. So that's the tell to be able to note if they are made by Beaton or not.
Yeah, these are the figures that a lot of baby boomers grew up with. Again, they were most prevalent right after the war. They made a huge line, so they made all types of plastic figures, and they were really the ones that sort of made plastic figures mainstream. They later went to soft plastic, not Beaton, but other manufacturers. But the Beaton company, right before the war, started the decline of the lead soldier.
So also, like we said, very cool set. Next, as we stated earlier, we have lots in this sale for everyone. We are moving on to some composition figures, and we have lot 1127, a lineal ambulance there, and 1128, a German punt and soldiers.
Yeah, well, I just found out a punt's a flat bottom boat. I'm like, what's a punt? Bree had to look it up. So that's a punt at the bottom. I'd like to show the ambulance. That's a very rare piece of lineal clockwork. It's in absolutely mint condition. You can see the original string tag on it. This ambulance would come in camouflage or also come in gray. This is the camouflage, which is rare, but just really an exceptional example of a rare tin plate vehicle.
It is, and I think what makes it even more special, as you can see here in the upper corner of the screen, is that lineal tag. Yep. So it has that original tag on there, and
it's a real nice addition.
Yes.
All original flags, rondelles, key, all the accoutrements.
Very good. So next we have an array, and this is just a small sampling that's coming up here of the Courtneys we have available in this sale. We have, how many would you say, Ray?
I believe we have about 40 of them. So there's 40 Courtneys, all of them in beautiful condition. This is, again, a small sampling. There aren't any really exceptionally rare figures in this offering of Courtney, but there are some very unusual heraldry that you'll see in there. Again, for any Courtney collector, I'm sure there's going to be 2 or 3 figures that you would really like.
They're great. And we just picked out some that stood out to us. And the ones that you're seeing on this page in particular, they start at lot 1158, and the last one is 1173. So if you're looking or following along with us in the catalog, you can see on this page we have Sir Robert Astley, we've got Sir Bartholomew, and the Earl of Tankerville. So once again, just gorgeous figures. And if you are a Courtney collector, just a side note, we also have this tournament backdrop that was made by New Britain. So it's not a Courtney, different manufacturer, but I thought that it would be really cool if you have the Courtneys displayed on your shelf and you were looking for something to kind of, add to it. I feel like if you had a couple of these tournament, sets, that it would make a really awesome 3D backdrop.
It looks like a medieval peanut gallery to me.
Sounds about right. And also, we've got lot 1193. This is a St. Petersburg figure. Look at that figure.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Thor Johnson started Arrow Art. That figure's made in St. Petersburg. We have a handful of really beautiful figures. Great standard bearer here. So I want to show it. Some of the most exquisitely detailed figures there are.
We're trying to give a variety of everything that we have to offer. And speaking of that, so these are some football players. They're made by a company called Sheila. This is lot 1224, circa about 1937. Sheila was out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Those Browns figures.
Well, I don't know.
It looks like Browns uniform, but we're in Pittsburgh here, so Cleveland, I'm not sure. But nice grouping, nice condition. Sheila made sports figures. So they made football players, baseball players, and basketball players. And that's basically all they did. They only produced for a year.
And what was that fact that we read about the Football Hall of Fame?
Oh, that's right. The sculptor. So the guy that sculpted these, his name's John Woolworth. I have it here. Jack Whiting. Jack Whiting, and he sculpted these figures. But he later went on to be the head sculptor for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he's responsible for the bronze busts that you'll see in the Hall of Fame. And in the late '80s, he had already done 130 of these busts, and I don't believe he's still doing it, but I think worked until the mid '90s.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's a nice crossover.
Great for any football fan out there. We also have a Buffalo Bills Wild West Hawker set, and thought it would be kind of cool. We found this picture online, as you can see, of Buffalo Bill. He's the one that's standing in the middle there, right in front of the stagecoach, and that's really a depiction of what they kind of look like at that time and what this set's obviously mimicking. But it was really the most historic stagecoach in existence, and it's called the famous Deadwood coach. And the coach was built by a company called Abbott Downing in Concord, New Hampshire in 1863. And what made it so popular was that it had brace springs, which made it
a comfortable ride.
It made it for a more comfortable ride.
You saying that's the Cadillac of stagecoaches?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what this was. It's the Cadillac of stagecoaches. It was fitted as a treasure stage to carry the gold from Deadwood to the railroad, and that's really what obviously gave it its name. But on the kind of riskier side, the shotgun messengers, the men on here and women, had a reputation as killers. So they
had a protective mode.
People were after them. I'm sure that as soon as they saw these stagecoaches, they weren't cheap, and they were definitely a target coming down the trail.
Oh yeah, of course they're a target. I'm excited. Did you ever watch the series Deadwood on HBO?
I didn't.
Well, there was a series, but they're just showing that they're having a movie coming out called Deadwood. It's all the same characters in it, so I'm excited. It's good if you want to learn about that part of American history. I don't know if it's totally historically accurate, but it's fairly accurate.
Well, I think it's interesting. It's so cool. I mean, any set that involves Buffalo Bill is pretty sweet.
That's for sure.
So once again, for following with us, that's lot 1288. And we also have some great King and Country in this auction. Now, usually we don't have this many of these. Sorry, bear with me for a second. My computer's being a little slow. But these start at lot 1360. Now, these are a bunch of facades. So I know that I've spoke in the past at the Chicago Toy Soldier Show. And we've talked about how King and Country will line the halls as you're walking into the show with these awesome scenery displays, not only with the figures, but with these amazing backdrops. And this is what I'm talking about. So this is just a little section of them. And if you can only imagine this and picture it in your mind with all of the figures that go in front of these buildings. I mean, we've got the Café du Normandie. We have the Maison de, which is the house of the Viennese hairdresser. We have a cafe, an auto shop, and a pharmacy here. And I mean, it's just a little bit, but like I said, we usually don't have this many. So I felt like, it was a great selection.
It looks like they're going to do very well. Yeah, collectors like to line behind their displays, and these sort of fit flush against your wall, and then you can have all your figures marching in front.
And also, we've got some Thomas Gunn in this sale. This is lot 1411, and I thought it was just a charming lot. Here we have an 82nd Airborne Infantryman who is with surprised children. So he's shushing them, obviously.
Don't be quiet. There's Germans in the neighborhood.
Right. But, Thomas Gunn was a company that was formed in 2009, and they started with an initial range of World War II Germans, but they now cover American, British, and Soviet figures.
They make some very nice figures.
Really expanded their line, newer line, but great figures.
Okay. We got our
These are really cool too. So here we have, these were made by Motion Model Warbirds. And these are lots 1414 through 1417. And they are the world's #1 supplier of ready-made custom, not only airplanes, but also ship models, tanks, missiles, space and spacecraft models. But really most interesting, and what we found about them, was that they have made models for 4 U.S. presidents, several secretaries of the Navy, Mr. Ross Perot. They've also made them for David Letterman and David Letterman. So cool. And the Smithsonian Museum and many others. If you jump on their website, motionmodels.com, you can really see everything that they've made and what they have to offer. I think that, they're just one of a kind, and they're a world-class model supplier, if that's something that you're interested in. And these are just a couple that we have in the sale.
They look very nice.
Next, we have lot 1454. This is a German rugby team, and wonderful condition. Who doesn't love rugby?
Yeah, and I just want to show, because I've never seen it. It's not Heidi, it's not Heinrichsen. I'm not really sure who made it, but very nicely designed figures, great rugby players. I thought it was just a nice, colorful set.
It is. It's a beautiful set. There are 19 figures, obviously, in all different poses there. Next, we have lot 1463. This is one of my all-time favorites. I mean, everyone knows I love animals. Shocker, but I really love this one. And what the German stands for there on the figure is Brementown Musicians. And this is mimicked after the Grimm Brothers fairy tale.
I do not know.
Which, if you haven't heard of, it involves a donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster. They were working on a farm for years. They were all past their prime, and they really weren't going to be useful to the farmers for much longer. So they decided to go to a nearby town called Bremen, which was known for its freedom, and they wouldn't be
Let's be free.
Held hostage on the farm anymore. And they decided to go live without their owners and become these musicians, because that was a great idea. So on their way there, they get to Bremen. They find a lighted cottage with some robbers that were inside. And they stood on each other's backs, as you can see.
Peering through the window?
Peering to scare them. And they were successful. They were able to scare all the robbers away. They had no idea what the sounds were. All the animals were yelling. They ended up going into the house. They ate the dinner, and they ended up living in that house happily ever after.
I always wondered how they got in that position, because it's one of my favorite poses of all the figures, and this comes in a variety of sizes, but I never knew the story behind it, Brie.
Yeah. Old Brothers Grimm tale.
Very nice.
So next, we've got, now these are absolutely gorgeous. We're ending, so this is the last lot we're going to show from day one. These are lots 1040 and 1041.
Yeah, these for a Britain's collector, they're really the ultimate. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you have the full brand of the Coldstream Guards. Now, the Coldstream Guards is one of the iconic Britain sets. They've actually made at least 8 different variations. This is the rarest of them all. It's not the earliest. So this set first started in 1897. This is a 1911 version, half booted, with dated bases. So 1911 version, half booted, dated bases. It's the rarest, has the highest OP rating for it. It's in really, really pristine condition. I mean, the labels, just look at that, nice and bright gold, Brie. The upper left-hand corner, there's actually an original Gamages sticker sold at the department store Gamages in London. If you want the best of the best for a Coldstream Guard band, this is it. Actually came from the Ilinsky collection, has a protective box. I believe it actually came from Millie to Ilinsky to Bill Jackie, and now it's being offered here. So really a nice set for an early band.
And now we see a lot of different bands, and this one in particular, how can you tell that it is that version?
Well, you look, the half booted means that their boots, physically their boots, when you look at them, they're short boots. Okay. So after that, so you'll see boots coming up. Then they'll go to what's called full trousers. So the version after this, so the trousers go all the way down. So you don't really see that they're boots. Prior to that, they're called slotted arms. So the first version, slotted arms, and their arms are actually connected to the body a little differently in that. So this is called 1911, half booted,
Okay.
Coldstream Guard band, which is the rarest of them all. And then another exceptionally rare band with exquisite provenance, again a protective box on the right, is you have the full band of the Bahamas Police. And this is the earliest and rarest version of all those. It's a 28 piece, which they didn't make any bands bigger than that. So 28 piece, exceptionally rare, made 1959, 1960. They then produced the 25 piece band, which is like most of the bands that you'll see post war bands, 25 piece. And then they actually, after the 25 piece, sort of in like 1962, 63, they produced a 26 piece that's in one of the clear cellophane boxes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're all rare, they're all desirable, they're all great bands, but sort of the same as the Coldstream Guard. This is the rarest and best of all the versions of the Bahamas Police band.
So these sets speak for themselves.
They do. No, they're really exquisite.
Beautiful sets. Okay, so those were once again lots 1040 and 1041 for those of you following in the catalog or searching online. And now we are going to move along to day 2. We are beginning with lot 2020. This is Britain's set 316, the Royal Horse Artillery. This is also a very scarce set in amazing condition, and I know I didn't state before, but day 2 begins Sunday, May 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern as well. So this set's, I mean, once again, original box and just beautiful.
Yeah, they're rare, very rare. It's a Royal Horse Artillery, which is one of the popular sets that Britain's made. Again, this is one of the rare versions at the halt. Usually it's at the walk or at the gallop. This really makes it a great addition to your collection. You know, if you just look at it, nice luster, really a great example.
Next, we have lots 2041 through 2043, and these are Danish toy soldiers. Really, why we chose these were for the gorgeous label.
Yeah. And we haven't really had these before. I mean, I'm basically unfamiliar with these figures. I've had Danish figures before, but just great labels. I mean, look at them with the Danish flag and sort of a nice battle scene. Very colorful. Figures are very similar to Heidi, but they aren't Heidi. You can tell they aren't Heidi. They're their own manufacturer. So this is really interesting. We have, I'd say 5 or 6, maybe 7 of these in the sale.
They are, yes. They're beautiful sets. And now, these are really exciting.
Oh, yeah. So these are really, this is like the ultimate for a Britain's collector. So these are the Parade series, okay? The Parade series are basically the same figures that Britain's use in a lot of the other sets, but they packaged them in these special boxes, like a shoe box, where they stood upright. You buy them, you could just take the top off, and your regiment's ready to go.
Right.
So the tie card sort of in the middle there, that could be lifted out, so you could actually put them sort of right on a table on that, and it would hold all your figures. Now, the Parade series, I believe, started in 1931, and they only produced until 1935. And if you look in Hopi's book, there's a lot of them. I mean, well, they made a lot of them. So there's, I think, about 42, 43 different sets, because they made the regular numbered sets like these are, but then they made A series sets, which were second grade figures in them too. So they produced a lot of them. These are some of the absolute rarest post-war sets you'll ever see. They're rarer than a lot of the early sort of first version sets. I've been dealing with soldiers a long time, as you know. I've only had 6 of these sets ever. I was talking to Scott Moreland, one of our catalogers, who is a big collector and a dealer of toy soldiers. He's never had one. Ed Ruby, whose collection is the basis for the Great Book of Britons, he didn't have any.
Wow.
And there's only one of these sets pictured in the Great Book of Britons, and that was by James Opie, was the owner of that set. So these are extremely rare. No one has all of them. No one even has close to all of them. I mean, some of the biggest collections I know had 2 or 3. These are from the original owner's family. They were left through the family. We have 4 box sets. They're going to break some records, Bree. I mean, the bids have been coming in. It's going to be scary what these go for.
So you mentioned that they were put in these tie cards so that you could take off the lid and they'd be ready to display. Were they shipped like this to protect them?
They were shipped like that. So they were like this, and they would put Excelsior, like sort of wood shavings in between the figures and just put the lid on, and that's how they're shipped. And you get it, you just take it off, and your soldiers are ready to go. They're at present.
Why did they make so few like this and then the others with the tie cards? I mean,
No one knows.
okay.
I don't know. And again, they produce, 4 years. I mean, there's some Britons they only produce for 6 months, but no one knows why these are so rare. I mean, they must not have produced that many of them, but they're in the catalog line. There's a lot of numbers dedicated to them. They're just some of the rarest of the pre-war. So it's going to be very exciting when these come up on Sunday.
They are. They're going to be exciting. So we had those two, and then we wanted to show you a close-up too of our cover lot, which is up there. Also one of the parade sets.
Yep.
And
And also the Middlesex Regiment too. So those are the 4 we have, and then we have 2 unboxed versions of just U.S. infantry. So you can tell them by the officer. The officer mounted on horseback is a unique figure to some of these sets. These figures are essentially like those Middlesex Regiment figures are just, everyday Middlesex Regiment. So really what you're buying is the box in these cases. But let me tell you what, they're going to be some expensive boxes. That's for sure.
they're beautiful, unique, one-of-a-kind sets. They would put any collection up to the next level.
Oh, yeah. And the top collectors, they might have 1, they might have 2, but no one has 4.
Those are our parade sets. Next, we are moving on to a unique set. This is lot
Like this one?
2076. This was made by Casanellas. It's a Spanish manufacturer, and this is a bullfight arena. That's what it's supposed to mimic. I just thought the box with the candy cane stripes on there and the Toro logo label on the top just really made it a cool set. I mean, I can even picture the bullfight going on. It's really a
Spanish manufacturer.
Cool.
The figures are sort of Heidi-esque, so they kind of look like Heidi, but they're a little more slender. But great packaging, great set. You could see them selling a lot of them in Spain when people went over in the 50s and 60s, went to a bullfight, and that's what you took home to your kid.
sounds just about right. And lot 2078 here, we have a gorgeous display set. This is set 130, the Scots Guards.
Yeah, again, it shows all the regiments of the Scots Guards. One of the iconic sets. You have set 129, 130, 131, and 132. So those are the biggest display sets that Britain's made pre-war. You have all 4 of them. That's a Britain's collection right there.
Next, we have lot 2149. And we chose this one. It has a lot of interest in the catalog as well.
That's probably why we chose it. But it's a very nice Markland gun with the mud flaps on it, in nice condition. And again, sort of is attracting a lot of attention.
It is. I mean, it has that camouflage paint. I really love all the guns with the camouflage paint.
That's what makes it good.
I just think they're so cool. So cool. So, 65 millimeter barrel, pre-war gun. Gorgeous.
Getting toward the end here,
so I know. Not only do we have the parade sets, but we also have a parade of Bojest elephants in this sale, which is really exciting. So these ones are lot 3181, and they vary, but to 3206. And
again, we just haven't shown many of these. Bojest was an Argentine company. They're no longer producing figures, I don't believe. There's a possibility they are, but I don't believe so. Really highly detailed. Elephants do very well in our sales, so I think everyone's going to really like these a lot.
I think so too. They're always really popular and just gorgeous. They're in gorgeous condition. And that is all we had to show you today. So our springtime soldier squad begins this Saturday, May 18th at 10 a.m. continues Sunday, May 19th at 10 a.m. Our next Ultra Soldier magazine is live online now. So go to ultrasoldier.com and they're going to be in the mail soon to you for those of you that are subscribers. So be on the lookout for them. And the next RSL auction, the Toys and Banks of Summer, is going to be on June 1st. Our next broadcast will coincide with that. So it'll be last week in May. It'll be that Thursday, Friday right before RSL auction. So we'll keep you in tune to the perfect date for that. We haven't chosen yet, but stay tuned for that. And our next laboratory auction is June 29th. And our next soldier auction will be June 30th. So that was a lot. We got a busy summer on the horizon, but we hope everyone is enjoying spring and enjoys the auction this weekend. We sure will. So thank you for watching and happy collecting.
Bye now.